The tectonic shifts of Formula 1 drivers changing teams bring a dynamic change through the entire racing world. It's a phenomenon that transforms the sport's landscape, altering rivalries, igniting fresh narratives, and leaving fans on the edge of their seats. So, let's throttle and have a look at the turning tables. One thing about the summer break is always well known: the silly season. While the chaos that occurred last year as a result of Ricciardo's firing and Piastri's transfer to McLaren is nowhere near to happening again, this year features some much bigger names associated with much bigger teams. Why don't you watch the amazing world of summer break silly seasons through to the end to find out what happened, since we have it all in one video? Let us start with the least interesting performance: Kevin Magnussen's frantic effort. Ironically, he was one of the main factors that led to Mick Schumacher's firing, primarily because he demonstrated last year that his car is more than capable of scoring points. However, it appears that the Dane has lost his touch with the car since his old rival Hülkenberg joined the team. Hülkenberg has consistently outperformed him, and at the moment, the German is primarily responsible for Haas's 11 points, as he has 9 points to Magnussen's 2. If Haas is well known for anything, it is the fact that they do not frequently give up a lot of wiggle room to their struggling drivers. Even though Magnussen impressed us with the Viking comeback in 2022 and even won his first pole position in Brazil during the sprint race, he failed to build on that momentum, and everything from that point on has been a complete disaster for the Dane. However, Haas has finally opted for continuity in the next season, as they announced Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen will continue to race for them for a second successive season in 2024. In our previous video, we discussed how Haas is in trouble. You can go check it out to relate more to the F1 realm. In terms of leaving the sport, there are not many drivers besides Magnussen who should be afraid of their seats. However, their mindset is more affected by the change in the environment. For instance, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, who are both connected to Ferrari and Red Bull, have received a lot of attention as a result of the recent surge in performance at McLaren. Even though Piastri denied rumours that he would join the Austrian team anytime soon, there is still a chance that McLaren's fortunes could quickly deteriorate. The door will remain open for the Australians starting in 2025. Helmut Marko has only had positive things to say about the youngest member of the grid, which suggests that he has a lot to offer if given the proper tools. On the other hand, there is Lando Norris, about whom it has been widely reported that he has a prenuptial agreement with Ferrari. We will discuss Carlos Sainz later in this video, since he has already decided to leave the team for Audi shortly. Instead, we want to talk about Lando Norris and how he might be leaving McLaren out to dry, similar to what Sainz did in 2020. McLaren had a dismal start to the season, but over the last 4 races, they have amassed 86 points and cemented their position as the 5th fastest team on the grid in the tight race to unseat Ferrari or Aston Martin by the season's end. Even with this in mind, Norris does not seem too pleased with some of the car's flaws, such as the low-speed corner stability, and has consistently urged that despite the car's recent increase in performance, it still has a lot of flaws need to be fixed as soon as possible. If McLaren wants to keep Norris on the team for a longer period, they have until 2025 to fix the car. Despite the significant progress they made in 2023, the young British man's signature is not assured. The superstar has already signed a pre-contract with Ferrari, according to media with connections to Ferrari and McLaren, which would place him in the seat next to Leclerc as soon as Sainz leaves for Audi. This is not a far-fetched scenario, given how close Sainz is to Audi, how his father competes for the German manufacturer in the Rally Dakar series, and how unhappy he is with the racing engineer's strategy recommendations. Joe Saward has spoken about this matter as he went on to elaborate. Norris and Albon were the subjects of wildly diverse rumours about the future over the weekend, with both being mentioned in connection with Ferrari and Red Bull. Whether such moves make sense for either man is open to question, but some believe that Lando may already have some kind of pre-contract with Ferrari. I can't see that as being a logical career path, given where Ferrari currently is, but then going to Red Bull and trying to beat Max is also a career path from hell. But this was said before the recent surge of performance from the MCL60, and whether or not Lando will leave anything that the team has built for him in the past couple of months is yet to be seen. Everything depends on his former teammate Sainz. Before discussing the Spaniard's lucrative negotiations with Audi, let us concentrate on his teammate's significant extension with Ferrari for the ensuing 5 years. Leclerc has ties to several teams, including Red Bull and Mercedes, but the Monegasque is likely to stay with the Maranello team because, according to reports, he signed a 5-year extension in the form of a 2+3, with the final 3 years being up to the driver's discretion as to whether or not he wants to continue working with the team. This conveys a lot about his worldview. One can highly doubt he will continue the never-ending suffering with the team. If Ferrari is not competitive in 2026, when the regulations will undergo the next significant change. When a team appears to be so dysfunctional on all fronts, it is very encouraging for him to devote that much time to them, especially after Vasseur stated that they are far from where they need to be. But once you learn the allegedly agreed-upon price, you will be able to see why he signed the document. According to rumors, Leclerc signed a contract that would pay him about $37 million annually and could potentially include a €50 million bonus if he stays with the team through 2029. Loyalty must be very lucrative. Red Bull has no chance of luring in Leclerc, as evidenced by the fact that they did not say much about approaching him during the Austrian Grand Prix about a potential partnership. Money matters? Players matter? No matter what, you're going to see much more than ever. On the other hand, it appears that Ferrari will undergo significant changes very soon. The most recent reports claim that Sainz has already entered into a prenuptial agreement with Audi, a team that will not compete in the sport until 2026, as his contract with Ferrari expires after the 2024 season. Sainz has frequently emphasized that the team's current top priority has been the driver contracts. Given that Sainz has frequently voiced dissatisfaction with the team's direction and the way business is conducted on race and qualifying days, Leclerc's lucrative contract might be blamed for his most recent actions. Sainz acknowledged that he would prefer to begin his season knowing exactly where he would compete the following year, because that takes away the distraction that there always is to be negotiating a new contract when you need to be fully focused on what you are doing on track and on the work you have to do with the team you are currently with, he continued, going on to further elaborate. That's the only way to make progress. While it's still early days and the end of the season is still some 4 months away, it's true that once this championship is over, I'll fully focus on sorting my future. The goal is to go into the 2024 championship without any worries about it, and my contract for the future is already signed and sealed. The door is now open for Norris to join Ferrari in 2025, and Sainz will have a year to adjust before Sauber is acquired by Audi for the following season. This scenario assumes that Sauber's agreement with Alfa Romeo has been extended through the end of the 2024 racing season. Therefore, it appears that 2025 will be a busy year for us. Even though Sainz claimed to believe in the Ferrari project, it is more than obvious that he is already considering his alternatives. And this time, Ferrari may end up on the losing end of the deal. Even if Tsunoda performs better than the Australian in the current season, we can never eliminate Logan Sargent and Daniel Ricciardo from the possibility of being fired in 2024. Sargent only causes trouble for Williams, a team that has 11 points right now, all of which were scored by Alexander Albon. There is no doubt that the upcoming season will be very interesting. You must buckle up because it is going to be a tectonic ride into the drivers' futures, I must warn you. Do subscribe to keep yourself updated with all that F1 comes up.